You go to check the body for vitals. If there was whimpering, there's a chance she's still alive. Well, she's breathing. Barely. You take your keys and try to unlock her. Shockingly enough, the car key from the ring you had just picked up does the trick, and the bloodied girl all but falls into your arms. Vanessa? It's definitely Vanessa. She's barely coherent when you address her. You hold her up, look around for something to cover with, without really finding anything immediately. She sounds really bad. Is she missing an eye? First thing first, you pull out your bandages and tell her to hold still. You just hope you have enough. You take a few minutes and bandage her up at least the worst of her injuries. Honestly, she looks worse than she is. You're not actually sure where all the blood came from, aside from her eye. There's only one door in the small, blood-covered room. You help Vanessa to her feet, and the two of you shuffle back towards the only door. Pushing the door open, you see that the hall you came from has changed completely. Great. You move slightly down the hallway, looking over what has changed. As you do so, your senses lurch suddenly, your inner ear going haywire. You feel nauseated as the world seems to spin around you. As the world settles down, well, being on the floor at least makes it easier to figure out the area. What had been a large empty room with doors along the far wall was now a much more standard-looking hospital corridor. There was what seemed to be a nurse's station at the spot where one hallway met another. You gently lead Vanessa over to the wheelchair and check it over quickly before you situate her in it. No gross shit, no apparent booby traps. Thank goodness. She's very quiet. You wheel Vanessa around behind the nurse's station. She's quiet, but still breathing as far as you can tell. Whatever she's been through must have been some heavy shit. There's drawers, a couple of closets, and a filing cabinet. You check the drawers first. There's nothing interesting in any of the drawers that you pull open, but one of them is padlocked and chained up. For a second you think the lock is screaming at you, then you realize it's an alphabetic lock, currently resting at all A's. Okay, remember, this place can read your mind and hates you. Remembering the tape. What 6-letter word or name puts the most chills up your spine? Could it be murder? Red rum? Red rum gets you nothing. But murder. Murder almost seems like it's gonna click, but then nothing. You rummage through the filing cabinet. Almost all the files you find are useless. Almost. Password hint. Maybe that's what you're looking for. But what does it mean? On top, and there's a line in the sun? You try a number of different ideas before you reach the answer. Corona, suntop, shines, anything you could think of before inspiration finally strikes you. You thumb your way to sunder, and you hear a click as the lock opens. Funny, wasn't that far away from the first combo you tried. You pull the drawer open, and inside is a thick manila folder with the label Sunderland on it, and a similar labeled sealed bag and what appears to be cloth. It might be clothes. Alright, the first paper is a memo to all staff. Please be advised that room 208 is currently under police investigation. Sunderland. Isn't that Vanessa's last name? You think it might be. Either way, you shield the folder from her view as you take a look at the first couple of pages. Patient Sunderland, Mary, was found missing from the room following visiting hours yesterday. Authorities are unable to contact her last known visitor, Sunderland, James. All staff are urged to report any sightings of a late 20s, early 30s Caucasian male, blonde, last seen wearing a military surplus jacket. Note, wrong Sunderland, please refile. Alright, the next one is a memorandum of phone conversation. It's a little hard to read, but that's okay. Background. Patient initially admitted for induced abortion procedure obtained due to suspected incest and significant distress displayed by patient. Mandatory 3-day psych hold was enacted. Patient displays signs of trauma and neglect, as well as dysregulated attachment, hypersexuality, potential mania, and alcohol dependence. Bipolar disorder is strongly suspected, and patient is being advised to seek further psych treatment. You give Vanessa the clothes from the drawer. Looks like there were some glasses and kind of pendant in there too. Unfortunately, as you're flipping through the pages looking for more relevant info, you hear a noise. An unpleasant noise. familiar, and getting closer. Okay, number 1, determine the direction of the scraping. Number 2, get Vanessa in the chair. 3, tell her to hold on. And 4, run. Looking hastily over your shoulder as you run down the corridor, your footfalls obscuring the noise of the approaching thing. You see the shadow of her tendrils approach you. The White Queen. You beat your feet and run, trying to get out of there as you push Vanessa speeding down the hall. You're jerked up short suddenly as a pair of cold, disgusting tendrils wrap around your arm and neck. You feel Evelyn give you a hard shove and hear the sharp report of his gun as you go careening down the hallway. The chair hits some kind of bump and throws you forward out of it, sending you sprawling onto the hospital floor. As you try to right yourself, you look up, and the unexpected sight takes your breath away for a moment. Uncle James? You watch sprawled in pain from your recent ordeal, hazy fragments of the memory like knives on your skin, as your uncle leaves through the hospital door. Something drops from his pocket as he leaves. Behind you, you hear Evelyn cry out. You don't think he's doing so well, fighting that thing. He might need your help just to survive. But your uncle is so close. You're sure if you could get up and go after him, you'd finally be able to catch up and look him in the face. What should you do? There is no choice. You may have come here for your Uncle James, but Evelyn has had your back every step of the way, even if you think there may have been something off about him. You run, stumbling back to Evelyn as he's grabbed, and you grab the gun out of the back of his jeans. You don't hold back. You empty Evelyn's clip on the thing. You may have some pent-up anger issues. The thing makes a hideous noise and flails, dropping Evelyn to the ground. You grab Evelyn's arm and pull him away, the two of you scrambling towards the door as the thing's tendrils lash. You pause just once to scoop up the item that James dropped and hold it tight in your fist without looking at it. And then the two of you push through the double doors. And you're out. Thank God. Except, out doesn't look any better than the inside. You take a breath. The air is thick and fetid with the stink of death. Cold, dark mist clings to your bare skin.